I hope you are doing well. I hope you are doing well. Here is a new case that demonstrates once again that Algeria is not as solid as the PS claims, and to say that we are absolutely not at risk of a scenario of protest or popular protest like the one that is currently shaking Morocco, since apparently Algeria is doing well. Algeria is doing so well that a man risks prison on October 7th. He risks going back to prison because he has already been in prison for his opinions, just for having said, Tebboune is talking nonsense, for this sentence, just for having said, Tebboune is talking nonsense and he is not a good president. Well, this gentleman, a gentleman named Fadez, whom you practically all know, I mean that many Algerians know him, especially those who participated or were activists within the Hawk. Since it is a political name, an Algerian opponent who was very, very active, very dynamic within the Hawk. He is from Gil Constantine, a working-class neighborhood in Algiers between Asia and etc. He is someone who has already been in prison in Algeria. I remind you, from July 2021 to March 2022, in Harwich prison, for offenses of opinion, simply for his opinions, for his participation in political activities deemed subversive, for calling for democratic change, for supporting the Hawk against the current Algerian regime. Well, Faz was arrested on September 29 at his home in Gu Constantine with his wife at around 3 p.m. He was then taken into custody and brought before a court, which placed him under judicial supervision and scheduled his trial for October 7. Why? Because Mr. Faz made statements that were deemed disrespectful, slanderous, and considered an insult to the President of the Republic, Abdou Tebboune. I will show you the statements that were broadcast by the Maghari television channel, an opposition channel based abroad. You also know Faz as the coordinator of the Democratic and Social Movement, which is not a major political party, it must be said. It is not a political party that mobilizes millions of people. It has no members. It does not have thousands of members behind it. But from 2013, 2014 until 2019, Faz appeared on television and made speeches. He used social media a lot to make himself known, to promote his struggle and his ideas. He is a man of the left. It is the Algerian left. He is 51 years old today and he has a very, very good command of it. I do not agree with many of Faz's ideas, but I recognize him as an accomplished and sophisticated intellectual. He has a very good command of French. He has a very, very good command of Arabic. He has a very good knowledge of the country's history. He sometimes has a very lucid interpretation of certain crises in our country, and he even has a very critical and very lucid view of the main dysfunctions, on certain main dysfunctions in our country. I respect him. I have respect for him, for his career, for his struggle. He is an affable and kind man. He doesn't have any clannishness, or clannish excesses, or personal betrayals, or personal shenanigans. He's really a left-wing intellectual, like there are very few in Algeria, someone who has a background, who really has a background and who is an activist. He really is a true activist. He's been on the ground for many years. The MDS existed well before 2014. They had a headquarters in Algiers, which would have been closed. The party has practically been dissolved today. He held conferences, participated in demonstrations, and took part in political debates. He wrote to the media, he lobbied. He's someone who's really committed and respectful. He's never been radical, even if sometimes when he speaks out, he makes very harsh criticisms. That's it, but within the limits of respect. He is not slandering. He is being accused of slandering Abdou during his interview the day before, September 28. It was the 28th or 27th, because he commented on Tebboune's interview that was broadcast on Friday, September 26. Remember Abdul Majid Tebboune's last disastrous interview? It was September 26. I think he spoke in Maghabia on the 27th, the next day, because he was arrested on the 29th. Where he experienced it was September 27th or 28th. Look what he said, a mag for. The Lord is the one who has the power to protect the people, and the Lord is the one who has the power to protect them. Yes, the people of the world, 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 and the people of the world. The clergy and the people who are in charge of the ministry are the ones who, the sting and the sting of the sting. There you have it, my friends. So that was a speech that lasted about 5 minutes or so. On the subject, he was questioned by Libya, colleagues from Marbia, in this article to comment on Tebboune's interview, and it was really this word, this statement that greatly displeased the President of the Republic, who therefore asked the security service to arrest him and charge him with insulting the President of the Republic. He was indeed very critical, he was virulent, but was he insulting? Did he commit an offense? He was not insulting. Insult is an insult, it is defamation. Let's take the definition of insult. The legal definition, in a civilized country of insult. What is insult? It is a malicious act, a malicious word, a gesture that undermines the dignity or respect of someone who holds a position. These are malicious words and acts that must harm dignity or honor. In terms of honor, these are insulting and humiliating words. In this case, he did not insult honor. He did not undermine Tebboune's dignity. He is giving his opinion. For him, Tebboune is talking nonsense. For him, he is a president who does not govern the country well, who does not really hold all the power. This is his version. This is Tebboune's version of events. I do not agree with him on many things. He is telling some of the truth, in my opinion, the whole truth. But in any case, it is his truth. It is his opinion. It is his opinion. For him, well, he is talking nonsense. He does not control what he is saying. He is asked to say it. He does not even know. He is not aware of what he is saying. Is this an insult? Is this slander? Abid, during this interview on September 26, said, "I am not against freedom of expression as long as there is no slander, no insult, no defamation, no denigration." Did laws denigrate? He did not denigrate. He gave his opinion for himself. Teb is talking nonsense. The proof is that he is talking nonsense. He does not control his own arguments and his own arguments. He is irrational. Arrested the day after these statements, placed in police custody, judicial supervision, he remains in prison on October 7th, and this is not the first time that he has been prosecuted for going to the President of the Republic. He had already served time in prison between 2021 and 2022 for having left the President of the Republic, for attacking him, and for contempt for disseminating a publication that could harm the national interest. Look at the Algerian justice system. When you criticize B, you harm the national interest. It makes no sense. On August 29, 2024, he and his wife were also arrested. This was 15 days before the early presidential elections, and on August 29, 2024, 2 days later, he was charged with attacking the President of the Republic and spreading false information and hate speech through posts on social networks. When you criticize B, the Algerian justice system can also consider that criticizing B is spreading a network of hate speech. He was already sentenced to 1 year in prison in January 2025. There was symbolic compensation, but there was no arrest warrant. And once again, he was convicted and arrested again. He risks being tried this time, and I am very afraid for him that on October 7th, he risks being imprisoned this time because Foz does not want to keep quiet, does not want to submit. He defends himself with the lapse of expression. He defends himself with no words. He criticizes Tebboune. He opposes Abdido. He does not like him. Now where is the hostage? Where is the slander? When I say T is talking nonsense, I did not insult him. I did not defame him. I did not denigrate him. I did not belittle him. Slander, at one time or another, is when you touch on dignity, honor. If I said either blind or disabled, crippled, or if I really used pejorative words, insults there. Yes, it is outrageous, but when I say I'm sorry, you're talking nonsense. It's not an outrage. It's not an outrage. Indeed, many of us said this interview was nonsense. And I say it, Abdou Semmar really talked nonsense on September 26th. So on the one hand, we are told, we are not like Morocco, an absolutist monarchy, a country that enslaves its population. Inequality is not a form of inequality, slavery, repression, or whatever. It is not an attack on human rights. It is not contempt. It is not a humiliation for individual public freedom. That is what you say. Well, he is worse than the king of Morocco. In Morocco, it is the same thing. You cannot criticize the king. A Moroccan who said the king is talking nonsense on social networks, on the internet or there on 1,000, he could have gone to prison. And what is the difference with Morocco? But what is the difference with the Moroccan monarchy? There is no difference with the Moroccan monarchy. So, we are giving you lessons, and this happened at the time when there were demonstrations of G of 212 the Gene Z2 in Morocco, at the time when the PS tells us, Algeria is solid, it is a stable country, the citizen is respected, he has his rights, it is not like in this archaic Ari monarchy. This is how the Algerian regime speaks about the Moroccan monarchy, but it is outrageous to arrest an opponent for insulting the President of the Republic and threaten him with prison because he simply said that the President talks nonsense, contradicts himself, does not control his speech and is not up to his post. He does not have the right to criticize. Am I obliged to like him? It is not a crime not to like him. You are not the guardian of Algerian identity, nor is he the pillar of Algeria. Well, he will be here tomorrow, he will no longer be here. We have the right not to like this gentleman. He is not the prophet, he is not a god. This is not the first time that cases of insulting the President of the Republic have been brought to Algeria. The Algerian courts are flooded with cases of insulting the President of the Republic. As soon as there is an activist or a militant or an ordinary citizen who criticizes, well, the the local police chief, the local police officer, mobilizes to arrest him and asks the judges to charge him with insulting the President of the Republic. They are inundated. He is known as an opponent. He has already been to prison. He has a certain notoriety. His arrest was publicized. It was highlighted, but there are dozens every year. Dozens if not 100 Algerians who are prosecuted, tried and punished for insulting the President of the Republic just to get on top of others. Some are insulting, some slip up. Yes, there are some. I agree with that. I am against slander. I am against insults. I am against insults. We do not have the right to insult someone, even if it is Abdou. I criticize him. I oppose him. Mouth. I am not going to make jokes about his physical condition. I am not going to joke about his illness. I am going to use insults are clear. Insults are the use of insults, disrespectful terms, and immoral profanities. But when I say I'm sorry, I'm talking nonsense. That's not sanity, it's not insulting, it's not immoral. It's my right to think that you're talking nonsense. So how are we different from evil? How do you expect young Algerian Ms not to revolt tomorrow? Well, young Algerians could revolt too. If we want to be different from those countries that oppress and that are experiencing revolts, we should perhaps change and accept democracy, accept public and individual freedoms, accept a certain level of freedom, accept that opponents can criticize the president, tell him, yes, you're talking nonsense, we're not going to prison, we can't, we shouldn't and we don't the right to put us in prison for saying, oh, I'm sorry. Abid is talking nonsense. Quote. So, let's stop lecturing Morocco and other countries. Let's stop pretending that we are stable and solid when we are still just as oppressive and we are just as oppressive as these countries that are currently being shaken by increasingly intense protest movements.